Hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess, and today is January 2026, and I can't believe that 2026 has already arrived. Last year kind of flew by for us, so I'm excited to start with a new schedule in 2026. So starting next week, you will see 3 videos per week with a bonus video of my live. The third Thursday of the month will be my live. So y'all stick around. I'm excited about this, and I hope that you are too. It eases up my schedule a little bit, and I can get more things done in my house that I need to get done. Of course, I'll be bringing you along for all of the decluttering and downsizing that we're planning on doing inside, the work that needs to be done on our house inside, etc., etc. So I'm excited about this year. So today I'm going to bring you in my kitchen for a little bit, and because I've got a couple of projects I need to get to that were leftovers from last year that has to do with the 2 vinegars. One was a pear vinegar, I believe, and the other one was a hooch that was supposed to be vinegar, and we're going to check those out and make sure the pH is right before we seal those jars. So let's get to it. The first thing I'm going to show you is my homemade recipe for potpourri on the stovetop, a simmer pot as you might want to call it. And I've got my beans for our supper back here cooking a little bit before I throw them in the crock pot because I want to speed it up and get them ready because we're having chili for supper tonight. I've got my simmer pot back here, and the first thing I'm going to throw in is a cinnamon stick, followed by a couple of bay leaves. And in my cup I have star anise and clove. And that is the easiest recipe, and it'll make your house smell wonderful and inviting. So that is my recipe for y'all. You can use as much or as little as you want in your simmer pot. And once it starts simmering, which it is, I'm going to go ahead and turn that down to almost low. And then I'll keep an eye on the water throughout the day, but that water will darken up from the cinnamon. And here's the kicker. You can save the water off of that, add about a cup of vinegar to it, and store it for a rodent spray. We have a problem with field mice where we live at. We have fields all the way around us. We have a state park across the road from us. Of course, the field mice love to come in the winter months. I'm going to be sharing how I make little packets to put around my house to kind of deter those mice from coming in. They don't like the smells. They don't like the smell of this stuff, but we love the smell of it. And I can put this in a spray bottle and spray my baseboards and wherever I might see mouse droppings to kind of get them away from the areas that I don't want them in. So I save that, and I'll put it in a spray bottle, and I just shake it up and spray. My beans are about ready to go into the crock pot, but before we get there, I'm going to go grab my vinegars. We did lose one of our jars of Pear cider vinegar, but I've got my pH strips. I'm going to take a strip for each jar. We're going to test these. And we want our color to come out between number 4 and number 5 on our test strips. Now these have been sitting for several months, and the mother, it has formed on the top. And so I'm just going to go in here and grab just a little bit of that vinegar and test. and my little jar. All right. So there are the test strips. And I would say we're at a 4 on those. There's the color. A little bit lighter would have been a 5, but we have a 4. I'm going to clean these up. I'm going to get lids on these. We'll be right back. I'm going to taste test this before we go, though. It smells like vinegar. And it tastes like vinegar. It's a little bit different than the apple cider vinegar, and that's okay. So these will go into my pantry, and I'll use them up throughout the year, and that mother will continue to grow. I've got some butter back here. I'm bringing down to temperature because I'm going to be making some things to go with our supper today. I need a wide mouth for that one. And that is our pear vinegar. I'm going to clean my plate off. And here is our apple cider vinegar that was supposed to be vinegar, but it was hooched on my pantry shelf. And we do have a nice mother on top. I'll show you that in just a second. I got to get all these strings and stuff off of this. But I have a really nice mother there. So we know that it's turning to vinegar. And I've pulled my strips. I'm going to get them laid out here. We're going to check each one of them. And then I'm going to do a taste test. And hopefully it doesn't taste like hooch anymore. All right. It looks like a 4. So I'm happy about that. We're going to do a taste test, then we're going to get these jarred up as well. Taste test. It's still got a little bit of a twang to it, but it tastes like vinegar. It smells like vinegar, so we're going to leave it at that. We're going to call that vinegar. Get it labeled. Get her plate cleaned up. And there we have our vinegar, and our beans are about ready to go into the crock pot. Here's our Micro Grow 2526. And y'all, I have put up a grow light. These plants are not growing very fast, the ones that have come up. And the Pinocchio orange tomato, I had to reseed. So we're going to see if we get anything out of this year or not. My first time growing them. And my seasoning pack. I'm going to let this cook for about 4 hours. I'm going to come in with my ground beef and my tomatoes closer to the time that it will be finished, and let it cook for another 2 to 4 hours after that. So there it is. We're going to need crackers to go with our chili tonight. So you need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of softened butter, but before I get to that, I'm going to go ahead and add my salt. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We're going to mix that together briefly in our bowl. Two tablespoons of butter. I'm going to get in here with my hands. We're going to mix this up, and then we're going to roll it and shape it into crackers. So 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. So I'm just going to get in here with my hands and start breaking that butter up and getting it incorporated into that flour really quickly. I'm going to grab some water, and we're going to add 7 tablespoons of water to this, and then we're going to roll this out. So 7 tablespoons of water in there, and I'm just going to mix this until it. So I'm going to work the dough a little bit so it won't stick to my rolling pin too bad. And we're just going to roll, roll, roll. That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to take this and I'm going to poke my holes, but you can use a fork. And I've got this to cut my biscuits or my crackers with. So I'm going to get some flour on that, and then I'm just going to cut this dough into sections. Okay, they're going to be all different shapes, but that's okay. We're going to get them on our cookie sheet. Different shapes, different sizes, but that's all right. This will cook on 400 degrees. You want to preheat your oven for 15 minutes. And then you need to be checking on them too, so you don't want to over brown. And you want to leave a little space between your crackers. Now, I'm not lining my cookie sheet. I'm using actually a papered shelf cookie sheet, and hopefully the crackers don't stick. I'm going to get this mess cleaned up, and we'll be right back. All right, I pulled the crackers out of the oven. I pulled one out to let it cool. Listen to this. Great snap. And in my skillet, I have already browned up my ground beef. 1 pound of ground beef with about a cup of chopped bell peppers from my freezer. Let's try the cracker. It's better than those crackers you get in the store, I promise you that. It's been 4 hours in my crock pot, and now I'm going to go ahead and add in my ground beef and my bell peppers. And I'm going to open up my jars. I've got some homemade chili base with no meat. And I will link this above. There it goes. This also had beans in it, so that's going to add to my pot. And I'm going to add in some of my crushed tomatoes, and I need to let this cook down a little bit. I may add in some tomato paste to thicken it. Oh, I thought I had it in the right spot. Maybe it's there. There we go. We're going to allow this to continue to simmer for another 2 to 4 hours until those beans are completely cooked. Here's some content I think you might like. Thank you for visiting our homestead. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hype, and share to help our small channel grow. See you next time for more simple living, frugal tips, and farmyard fun.